Greetings friends, Reformed Stoic here, back with another video, and this one is entitled, Women Judge Men. But the title more than anything is just trying to set apart this video in the massive, seemingly endless sea of videos of men talking about women. Because we're basically just going to go back to the drawing board and start from ground zero. You guys, I'm pretty sure we've talked about women a little bit here in the past. And we're not just going to talk about women, we're going to talk about kind of the mating dance in general and where things are at with both women and men. And actually, we'll start with men. Pornography. The problem with modern men is they have access visually to an endless amount of women, and it's a very unnatural thing, and it's a very frustrating reality for men to stomach, because we got all these modern MGTOW manosphere guys critiquing what's happening to women. Their problem is that they actually have physical access to way too many guys, because whether it be dating apps or the DMs in Instagram or Facebook DMs, a combination of getting hit up by guys on Facebook and Instagram, and your typical woman probably has like hundreds of messages from guys there, or just all the matches they get in dating apps. Women are able to just select from these hundreds of guys. They have way too many options. Whereas men, on one hand, they have the opposite problem. A lot of modern men are finding that they don't have any options, or at the very least, they don't have options as far as women they're actually attracted to. But the frustrating reality is that men are wired differently, and they have access to millions of women. Like, they're able to trick their body chemistry via masturbation and pornography. It's not a very pretty process to elaborate on. They're able to trick their body chemistry into thinking that they're sleeping with way too many women. So on one hand, you have men who think, like, they don't think this, but their body thinks that they're getting thousands of women. And then women, in reality, are actually hooking up with way too many men. Obviously, you know, not all women are like that, but mainly there's just a different spectrum. I think the way things are today is that your average girl has just gotten around a little bit more than she would have in the past, because she just has too many options. So, when I'm saying that women judge men, there's a couple of directions that kind of a video could go. It could go polar opposite directions. It could either be like a Jordan Peterson, well, what women do, bucko, is they judge men, and if no women like you, then you're the problem. And it ends up being bootstraps, clean your room, lobster hierarchies. Where are you in the dominance hierarchy? You know, you gotta... Okay, anyway. You gotta figure out how to fulfill the bottom line of what attracts women. Because if no women are attracted to you, then you're the problem. That's one direction that the video could take. And then the other is the complete opposite of where, you know, all women do is judge men, and who are they to have a chip on their shoulder? You know, I don't know. I don't even really want to elaborate on that direction too much. That's not really what the point of the video was meant to be. Neither of those are what the video is meant to be. It's meant to be somewhere in between. The reality scene from both sides. Like, on the Jordan Peterson side, if you want to have success with women, then you're going to need to think in terms of the bottom line. And, you know, maybe it's screwed up what women like, but you can either try to become that, or you need to learn to live without women. And then on the other hand, if you're the kind of guy who just doesn't need judgment in your life, I mean, this goes right along with my last video, you know, not caring what other people think, being okay with being alone, shutting out negative people and toxicity. Sometimes, girls, that's all that you really have to offer to a man. You know, other than, like, the reason men want to get with you. Ideally, men want to get with you for more reasons than that. But when we're just talking about, like, the meat market and nightclubs, nightlife, and who's the coolest and who wins at dating, yeah, everybody's just trying to get some, right? So, yeah, guys, like, when you're trying to heal from your screwed up life and you're trying to just kind of like process how messed up everything has been, think about what you need to do, think about the path forward, kind of get all the white noise and static out of your way, that's probably a good time to just think that, you know, women judge men, and that's what they're going to do. You know, they don't care that you were traumatized. They don't care that you had a really hard last 5 years. They're just going to look at you, and they're going to make an assessment very quickly. You know, like within the first 5 minutes of meeting you. Like, they're freaking like cyborgs that analyze like how tall you stand. Like, first of all, how tall you are, your jaw, your genetics. This is what the black pill is all about. Like, all that matters is your genetics. Well, that's certainly a part of it. The main thing that I wanted to elaborate on is that in this video is kind of my hypothesis about how women's attraction works. Their impression of you takes about 5 minutes tops. Okay, you get like 5-10 minutes to make this first impression, and the way that it works is if you fail the first 10 minutes, very unlikely that you're going to get another shot. Like, if you can't pass in the first 10 minutes, then you can watch these videos that have been out for like 20 years or as long as dating advice has been out, like how to get out of the friend zone. Okay, there's videos about how to get out of the friend zone. It happens. I think, just kind of skimming over how I think that process would happen. Okay, if you don't pass the first 10-minute test, maybe 10 minutes is a little bit exaggerated. It can be like 10, 15, 20 minutes. Maybe like the first time they ever meet you, okay? But you can definitely screw it up in 10 to 20 minutes. And if you do screw it up, then at best you're going to get friend zoned, or they're just going to think you're a creep and they don't want to have anything to do with you. But if you get friend zoned, I think the way that you get out is over the course of like 2 or 3 years, you completely drop out, you don't simp, you don't orbit, you have nothing to do with them, you're not texting them all the time. Okay, that's the trap that guys get caught in. And I think it's a phase. I think it's something that every man goes through when they're young. I definitely had girls who would end up being like my bestie, and they'd want to hang out with me all the time, and you know, I had these feelings and I wanted to be with them. What happens is if you're not man enough to like say anything or make a move or do anything, that's how you get friend zoned. And then when it's obvious that you're friend zoned, you don't do anything about it. It's just complete inaction. So as a grown man, first of all, hopefully it's not happening to you. It should be easy enough to just say, okay, this isn't happening. Don't text her, ignore her text, stop hanging out. So what happens is you completely remove yourself from them, and then, you know, they kind of catch wind, probably from your social media. Like, you got a new car, you got a new job, you've been working out, like, you completely fell off the radar for 6 months, and then you make a new account, and it could be like 6 months, a year and a half, 2 years. New account, new start, fresh, clean slate, new haircut. You're a different person, basically. You're a different person, and then you pass their shit tests, and then you get back in the game. So that's what happens if you don't make it in the first 20 minutes. So if you're trying to make something happen with a girl, it's like, I don't want to have to like wait another 2-3 years to make it work. So first 20 minutes, They're cyborg, like you have to imagine like Terminator, like when the Terminator sees things and like heat vision. I don't remember exactly what it looks like. I haven't seen Terminator in years. But seeing things in heat vision and the little targets and analyses, they're looking at you like that. And probably when a guy passes, it's just, if you could see the analysis, it's really goofy. You know, it's the way that they like stood up with their shoulders back, combined with their haircut, combined with the fact that they're 6'2", and like they said a couple of things, they said a couple of cocky things. Like this guy just walks in the bar, and a woman just kind of notices this guy. Okay, he's tall, he's got a cool haircut, and he's like standing, and he like says something in a certain way, like, hey, yeah, you know, I was out partying last night, and this guy was like in my face, was like, dude, you're a fucking beta, and then everybody laughs, and just all these like check marks are just falling down this girl's radar. Like, he's tall, his hair's good, he's making everybody laugh, he's got his shoulders cocked back, and he's taking up space, and it happens pretty quick, okay? Because you have to kind of like overwhelm a girl's wiring or receiver circuits. Now, what happens is you can lose that at any moment. So this guy is a hot shot, and then he walks up and games this girl, and he just says all the right things. But, you know, then you're on a date, and he loses his debit card or something. Oh no, my debit card! Oh, I'm freaking out. What am I gonna do? Oh, I gotta pay my phone bill. Oh, I gotta call my mom. And then she can't unsee that, and then it's over, and you've completely lost it. And so it's something that is very easy to lose, difficult to obtain. I think the question on everybody's mind is what percentage of it is genetics. And for the point, for trying to like not be hopeless, for trying to just, you know, keep a good attitude and keep trying and never give up. Ultimately, women are different. Women like different things. I'm looking for a kind of woman who's a Catholic, intelligent, hasn't been with a lot of guys. So I think it helps to kind of like set your sights on a special kind of woman to like really help weed out a lot of the kind of women who you're probably invisible to anyway. But when it comes down to like what percentage of it is genetics, I'm tempted to just leave that open so you just don't worry about it. You be the best you can be. It's probably like 60-70%. You know, I mean, when you're shorter, when you don't have hair, you know, shave your head. Hopefully your head isn't a weird shape like mine. But if it is, you're going to be as confident as you can. You probably want to go for that like little MMA fighter, you know, if you're under 200 pounds, I mean, you can still be, I think 185 is kind of like the slender Chad weight, but if you're under 170 pounds, then, you know, you want people to think maybe you're some little MMA fighter, boxer guy, as much as you can be in the best shape you can possibly be. But, so once you have the genetics to pass the threshold, then it's the body language, standing up straight, how you carry yourself, shoulders back, the look on your face, all these little things. But that's pretty much all there is to say about it, man. You know? I mean, this has been discussed a lot of times. The main thing that I wanted to convey is that women judge men. That's the bottom line. And I heard somebody in my chat, it was either today or like a couple of days ago, talking about how they blew it with their girlfriend, and their girlfriend's telling them, you're emotionally unavailable, and if either you should have did this, or I don't believe that you're going to be this now, and she's giving him a hard time now after they've broken up. You got to think in terms of bottom lines, okay? Because I think there's a very small part of some women, a lot of them are completely clueless to their programming. You lost it, bro, okay? You got to go out with them because you passed their little shit tests. You passed that window. You gave off some sort of impression. You shotgunned a beer at a party when they first met you, and you looked like you're cool and confident and cocky, and you passed all their little tests. But at some point, you just disgusted them. At some point, like, you know, you woke up and you were in a bad mood, and they looked at you and they're like, this is a disgusting beta male. He is not good enough. I can do better. Bottom lines, bro, because all of the, like, you're emotionally unavailable. You weren't there for me. I called you. That shit does not matter. And you might be thinking, why are you some sort of an expert with women? Bro, because I've seen the kind of guys that lay down the law with women. I've seen the kind of guys that women, like, break shit over and just yell and, why is he so hot? I've seen those kind of guys. They're not emotionally available. They don't get dumped, bro. These kind of guys who pass all of women's tests, they don't get dumped, and they're just alphas, bro. They subjugate other men. Other guys don't want to fuck with them. They got some cool truck. Their hair doesn't suck. They're tall enough, at least. They got some sort of an image. They say the right things. They do the right things. That's all that matters, bro, is you keep up this image. And I've studied a few of these different game books, one of them being the 3% male. And what the game books try to teach you to do is to continuously pass woman's shit tests for your entire life. It starts by passing the initial 30-minute window. I keep saying more time, whatever. You pass the first day. They get this image of you in their head. Like, you're able to kind of live up to their hyper-masculine, because their cyborg brain has taken all of these guys that they've seen on Tinder, all of these guys that they've seen on TV, all the guys that smashed them in parties in high school, who were like the fucking football jock, badass, play-by-their-own-rules guys. They have created this chimera of a man who, like, you know, says the perfect, cool, lame, cocky guy thing and has the ultimate shoulders back stand. They've created turbo, hyper, cyber Chad in their brain. It's like, I am here to party, enslave. What's up, babe? You're almost as hot as the last girl I was with. Like, they've created hyper giga cyber Chad, dude. And you have to do your best to live up to that standard all the time. And my best advice for doing that is just less is more. When you're trying, a woman's body chemistry says, why is this guy trying so hard? Is it because he's a beta? This other guy didn't give a flying shit about me. That's pretty much what it comes down to. Like, you know, texting too much, texting too soon, calling too much, calling too soon, saying too much, laughing too much. Basically, when you're not, like, you might be thinking that you're going to be boring, or that you're not going to say enough, or that you're coming off as, like, shy or lame. The most important thing is that you, in their head, could possibly be this perfect guy. And whenever you say something, it goes through the filters in their brain. Is like, would Cyber Chad say that? Like, that sounded like maybe it was a lame thing to say. Is this guy a beta? Am I too good for this guy? You could possibly just think of, like, you know, the shoulders back, and you're buff, and you dress nice, and you have a nice car. And then from that point, when you pass all their tests, you basically keep the spotlight on them, and then you nag them enough to kind of, like, keep them thinking that you kind of want to, like, flip it around on them. You know, ask them a bunch of questions, and then give them a little bit of shit about their answers to where they're trying to impress you. Because if at any moment you say too much and you become emotionally available to them, that's going to go through their woman filter, and they're going to be like, why would he say that? The last guy who I was with didn't say that. And what happens is they remember the best version of every guy they were ever with. You know, eventually it ended. A lot of times it ends because the guy leaves them. And the guy who left them will be immortalized. Immortalized in their brain. You know, when you're trying to like make it work with this woman, this girl got pumped and dumped by some football player, and he might as well be in her mind with like a number one. He's got like 2 number 1 foam things that you have at like baseball games. He's like, number 1-y. He's always going to be number 1, dude, because he left her. He's the unattainable alpha male, and everything you do, the way that you like tip the guy at the door, the way that you pay the bill at the dinner table, the way that you do everything, she's going to be thinking of this guy. It's like, oh my gosh, the way he tipped the waiter was so cool. He flicked the $50 bill out from under his sleeve. He's like, hey, here you go, bro. Shh, don't worry about it, bro. Like, you're never going to be able to live up to this guy. The best chance you have is just less, because Chad doesn't have to try. Women come to Chad. People like Chad. People are intimidated by Chad. And you're reading all these books and you're trying to figure things out. And the thing that you should be trying to figure out is you want somebody who will take you exactly the way you are. You don't want to have to live up to any expectations. And basically, if nobody will take you like that because of some genetic reality, like you're short and bald, it doesn't matter. Then you don't lift a finger. Then you're okay being alone. And it's kind of grim, and people are like, no, you should probably try to figure out how to jump through some hoops. Well, that's beta bucks. And, you know, I don't even know how much I want to get into that reality where women get used and abused by Chads, and then they look for some sort of a different kind of guy. There's no different kind of a guy, bro. You're either an alpha or you're fucking beta. I really believe that. I really believe that, bro. And what I'm trying to do is get with a girl who never played these games, which maybe is just an excuse to be alone at this point. But that's really what I wanted to convey, guys. Bottom lines, when a girl gives you her laundry list of reasons that you're not good enough, some guy at a bar like did that to you and you flinched, and she immediately she lost attraction for you because you no longer live up to this thing she has in her mind, and it's really screwed up. And you know, guys, probably the number one thing that guys are missing in the manosphere is that your standards are too high. But you have looked at so much pornography, you have gotten off to so much pornography that in your mind you've already been with like all these porn stars, so you don't want to lower your standards from that. You want a girl who's got the bubble butt, who's got the nice rack, who's got the gym body. Well, unfortunately, that's kind of where I'm at, and I can understand wanting to, you know, you should be realistic. You should basically think about the thing that you think is weird, or no, that other people think is weird that you like, you know? Think about the kind of girls that you like that not everybody likes, you know? The hottest version of lowering your standards. So that's probably about as long as we need to go on here. I just figured it'd be kind of good to just get people back up to speed on where I'm at with my chud philosophy on women, and it goes back to the old saying, guys, there's what women do, and then there's what they say. When she dumps you, you didn't take me out, you didn't do this, you're not emotionally available. She saw some fucking guy at a gas station, and he like was big and tall, and he looked like a fucking doorman, and he made some look at her, and then you came out of the 7-Eleven with like, oh my gosh, honey, they had sun-dried tomato basil chips just like we saw on the E! Channel, and she just, in that minute, it was fucking over. And then she's kind of disgusted, like she imagined that guy like bludgeoning your head in like a gladiator pit, and she's like, what the fuck is wrong with me, and what is wrong with women? Like, am I some sort of like a breeding animal? Like, there has to be a logical reason why I just lost attraction to this man who I'm 3 years deep into a serious relationship with. It can't just be this, like, primitive cave woman shit. But it is. It is. It's bottom line. So they come up with reasons that they didn't like you. Same thing with dates. You know, some of the stuff I've been hit with is like, I just got out of a serious relationship. It doesn't matter, dude. If you're Chad, the serious relationship doesn't matter. That guy could, like, get hit by 70 semi-trucks. This latest, Brad, unfortunately, was in a tragic, got ran over by 70 semi-trucks accident, and it doesn't matter, dude. She will go to town with you if you are ringing that bell in her woman brain, okay? I don't think this was misogynist. I think this is real. There's a very funny video out there. It's some random talk with Stefan Monalou where he's, like, talking to a woman, and she basically agrees. Like, she agrees that her standards of men are toxic and that she keeps ending up with asshole guys who use and abuse her. But Stefan sounds like such a beta. He's like, yes, well, why can't you understand that you need to be with a man like me? It's toxic. And she's like, yeah, I know. And I can just see the expression in her face where she doesn't care, bro. And I think the highest level of truth is, like, you should try to understand, like, if you were in women's position and you had this never-ending selection of women, there's a really good chance you'd be the same way, bro. This is the reality of our genders. Women have selection, men don't. Your body thinks that you have selection because of porn. The modern world has put men into a way arguably worse trap. Now, what happens is the wall, and then it gets to a point where women start noticing that these guys don't like them anymore because they're not in their prime. So then they have, like, cyborg Chad in their brain as their standards. And, I mean, they become us. They become us. They start hitting the wall. They have, like, the Chimera of all the guys they've been with. Like, we have the Chimera of all the porn stars we've cranked it to. And then they can't get that guy anymore. And then they're just kind of a mess, bro. And then they start, well, I talked to my therapist about you, bro. Just run. When a woman says that, dive through your window and do a somersault and just run. Well, when my therapist said about her last date, like, bro, she's 40, she's on 5 different medications, she's getting groomed by her therapist, maybe to be, like, sold into sex slavery. That's not funny. That's not funny. Dude, you guys, my last video, you might just need to be okay being alone for a while, because your best bet to be attractive, like I've said many, many times, the strong, silent type, Charles Bronson movies, Chuck Norris movies, Steven Seagal movies. It's the guy who's sitting at the bar. You don't look depressed, but you don't have, like, some big dorky smile on your face. You're sitting at the bar by yourself, and if anybody fucks with you, you're gonna, like, slam their head down. Think about any of those movies you've seen, and eventually some girl just, like, gets in their path. It's like, excuse me, mister, you dropped this, and then she watches him, like, kick the shit out of 4 guys. Think about, like, Commando. Commando is a specific example. Somehow, this chick just gets wrapped up in Arnold Schwarzenegger's story, and his attitude is just kind of like, whatever, I got the commando, you know, and then she's just kind of wrapped up. She's like, oh my goodness, and she just kind of follows him, and he's just, like, a little bit annoyed. He's like, okay, whatever, you can come with me. That's the attitude, dude. And I think as a chud, somebody who has had a lot of failure and rejection from women, those guys come off as jaded in those movies. Like, they're a little bit jaded, but you're hardened and you're self-improved, and you just don't jump through any hoops, and there's going to be a girl who finds you mysterious, and you don't blow it. You don't blow it by revealing your cards. That's going to be how your developed ability with women manifests, is you just don't jump through any hoops for women, and the girl who likes you as you are will stay with you. You know, she will because, you know, you're kind of expecting maybe in the back of your mind that they're just going to ghost you at some point, and you're prepared for that to not be a big deal. But when she sticks around, you keep her around, and you just, as far as like keeping them attracted, as far as never blowing it, there's just no moment where it's like, you know, now that we've been dating for 6 months, I want to tell you about how my dad didn't pick me up from my baseball game and I cried for 6 hours. You never reveal, like, there's nothing else. You never reveal your cards. You never become emotionally available. I don't really know what that means. That's something that, like, a lot of women are being told by their therapists who are grooming them for sex slavery. I hope that doesn't get me in trouble saying that. Yeah, emotionally available. I don't know, bro. They're gonna fall in love with you as a hardened man. You gotta be that hardened man forever. And it can't be that hard. So anyway, I don't know. I don't know how valuable this video was, but it was what it was. I'm uploading it because I'm a hard man, girls. So cringe or enjoy it or learn, do it, don't do it, whatever. God bless you. I'll see you for the next one.